Okay, so welcome everybody. Today we're going to be covering how to prepare your courses for second semester. So this is all for, I teach with Canvas. I need to get my second semester courses ready to go. How do I do that? So we're going to go through the instructions for that here today, and I'll kind of show you those processes. So to begin, I do have a document, which of course is now closed, that I'm going to share a link to. Let me share my screen here real quick. Okay, so it's this document here. It's starting a new semester in Canvas. So how do I get my courses ready? And I'm going to share a link to this directly here in the chat. And if you're watching the recording of this, I will have a link in the description of the video. So let's pop this in the chat. And we're just going to go step by step and talk about these processes. So to start off with, it says step one is setting up your dashboard and adding nicknames. Now that it's a new semester, when you go to your dashboard in Canvas, you might notice that some of your first semester courses are gone. And I've had several emails today from people who did not see their second semester courses in the unpublished area. That could be because last semester you set favorites and your favorites did not include your second semester courses. So the way to get your new courses on your dashboard would be to go to the courses area here on the left. So we'll click courses, go to all courses up at the top. And then to favorite something, you just have to click on the orange star. This is what makes courses show up on your dashboard. So you'll see that I have orange stars on various courses in here. Those are just the ones that show up on my dashboard. So what I would do is look through my list, probably be down here in the unpublished area, which is always light gray, and I would find my second semester courses and I would just click the stars. Now, if you haven't been favoriting stuff before and you don't want to start favoriting stuff, let's say you want everything on your dashboard, that's fine. You don't have to do anything with these, and your courses are probably already on your dashboard. So again, if you go and you can't find your second semester courses, check that all courses area and then click on the stars to add them to your dashboard. Once we have done that, we can return to the dashboard and we will see that all of my starred courses are now showing up. And your second semester courses are probably going to be down in the unpublished area. So I can come down here. From here, my next step is to set a nickname. So you might notice that some of your courses have some like wild names that come in from Infinite Campus. And sometimes it's hard to tell, exactly what it is that you're looking at. So one thing that you can do to make your life a little easier throughout the semester is figure out what the course is. And I usually say do this by going to the people area and seeing like, matching up your course roster with what's in Infinite Campus to kind of help you determine which course is which. And then once you've identified them, what you can do is you can click these three dots. I'm not going to mess with one of my real courses here. Let's do this one. I can click on the three dots in the top right corner though, and I can set a nickname for my course. So I can type in whatever I want to call it. I can set a color if I like to color code my stuff, and then I can hit apply. And what that does is it makes my course a certain color, and it also changes the name of the course so that I can see it a little easier and know which one I'm talking about. Now, I do always tell people this nickname will only show up for you. It's not going to show up for your students. So if you do want them to set a nickname to make your course easier to find, you certainly can do that. I usually suggest people maybe just like in the very beginning of class on the first day or something, or at some point during that first period, you can instruct your students on how to set their own nicknames. And again, that's just by clicking the three dots and typing in a nickname and hitting apply. And so they can set their own color code for it as well. And that changes the way the course appears on your dashboard, and that will stay all semester. So something you can do if you don't want to mess with the infinite campus names. And that wraps up step one. So does anybody have any questions about what we talked about in step one? Okay, so that's step one. We found our courses, we set nicknames to make them easier to find. Step two is an optional step, but it is a popular step, so I include it on the document. It's optional, but what it allows you to do is to cross-list your courses. Cross-listing your course means that you will take certain courses and combine them into one Canvas course. So again, you're taking multiple classes and combining them into one Canvas course. This is good for those of you that have multiple sections in one course. So for example, when I was a teacher, I taught seventh grade science and I had 5 sections of seventh grade science. So what I would do if we had had Canvas at the time is I would take those 5 Science 7 courses that are located here, and I would then add them all together into one Canvas course. That way, whenever I make changes or send announcements to my classes or anything like that, I can just do it once instead of 5 different times. So it just makes it easier in that way. And you can still differentiate for your students. That document that I shared, if you want to go deeper into this, there is a YouTube video on how to cross list your courses. You can click on that web link to go to the YouTube video. And the first part is showing what I'm about to show you, which is how to cross list. But then the second part shows you how to differentiate between those groups. So what you're going to do is, let's say this is a Science 7, and then I'll make this a Science 7. These are just pretend classes, so I have to set the nicknames. Let's apply that. And then let's say that this is a Science 7. Whoops. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I have 2 courses or 2 sections for the same course. Let's say this is my A12 block. This is my B12 block. I want to combine them into Canvas so it's all one place. What I'm going to do is I am going to take one of these courses at random. It doesn't matter which one I pick, and I'm going to designate that course as my parent course. What that means is I'm picking that as the course that I'm going to add all the other ones to. So let's say I'm going to make this one my parent course. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click into it. And what I like to do is I like to go to settings here. And then from settings, I like to go to sections, which is up here at the top. From here, what I will do is normally there would be an SISID number up here. Let me find this. I know these classes are real, so they don't have an SISID number. Let me find one as an example to show you. Let's see, real course, real course, real course. See if this one has it. Nope. Okay. Well, either way, there's a number at the top called the SISID. And what that does is that gives you a code. So you see how this is blank right here? That gives you a code that you can then copy. It just makes it easier. You can also search the course by name if you want to do it that way. But I like the code because it's foolproof. So I would copy the numbered code here on my parent course. Okay. So that was my parent course. I got the code. And then what I can do is I can just go to each one of my other courses And I'm going to complete this step with each course that I want to add to that parent course. So for the next Science 7, I'm going to click here. I'm going to go to settings. Then I go to sections. And we'll see that my section is listed here. I'll click there. And then I'll notice that there is a button up here that says cross list this section. Cross listing is how you combine the courses together. So I'm going to hit cross list this section. And then from here, I can type in the name to search it out. So let's say, get this little thing out of my window area. Canvas. If I search for this class, I need the name of it. Let's see what I got here. Example class secondary. So I'll type the name. Okay, and it's showing up by the nickname. So I'll click there. If I had copied the number, which is the better way to do this, I could just paste it in the box and then hit enter. So it found the course, and now I'm going to cross list it. And then now those courses are combined. So if I go to my homepage area here, I'll see that it's combined. And if I go to people, I can see that I have students from both courses here. So if I come down here to where I'm the teacher, there's several sections that are added here. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different courses that are cross-listed into this one class. So then what I'm going to do is I don't need to re-grab that SIS ID number, and I don't need to re-grab the name either. What I would do then is I would go to my next course that I want to cross-list with it, and I would complete that process. And then you just do that for each one of the courses that you want to add. It's just important that you pick that parent course and keep using the same one. And again, it does not matter which one you pick. You take that parent course, you decide which one at random, and then you just use that same SIS ID number to complete that process in each course that you're in. Once you're all said and done, it is combined. They will, I see a question that we have in the chat about this. Christy asked if the students will be listed alphabetically. They will, but check out that video on the document that will show you how you can filter the gradebook so that you don't have to see all of the classes at once. So if you're grading for one class, you just hit the filter button and you can select the course that you're grading for, and it will go down the list. Other questions about cross-listing? That's a great question, Holly. I'm actually going to get to that next for the homepage. So we'll talk about that next. Yeah, so that's cross-listing. Just as a word of warning, and I do have this in the video as well, that goes into more detail. If you do mess up cross-listing a course, it's not the end of the world, but you do have to email the help desk or me, whichever one you choose. Only district admin can decross-list a course. Canvas has it set that way because there's been situations, I guess, where teachers have decross-listed a course in the middle of the semester on accident, and it wipes out all your student submissions. So if you contact us, though, we can do it. So just reach out to myself or the help desk if you do mess up and you need a course decross-listed. Eventually, we'll get some people in each building that can help with that as well, but we're not quite there yet. But we're pretty quick at helping with that. Okay, any final questions about cross-listing? Check out that video for more information. Okay. Step 3 is make sure you have the OPS Canvas template. So it says you can either copy content from a previous course that has the template, use a pre-built course provided by your TLC, or grab it from Canvas Commons. So there's a couple options on how you're going to actually start to fill up your course with content, because it's probably going to be empty right now. Option number one, some of you are getting courses built for you by your curriculum supervisors, and they're going to push that content out to you. So if you're not sure if you're one of those people that's getting a course from your TLC, you can probably reach out to them and ask and say, hey, am I one of the ones getting one of these courses? So if you are getting a course, congrats, you don't have to do any of this stuff. If you find out that you're not getting a course and you haven't taught with Canvas before, your next step would then to be to grab the template. So let's say that this is a brand new course, you have not taught in Canvas, so you don't have anything in there. Where do you start? Because your course will be completely empty. What you can do is on the side here, you can go to what's known as Commons. So it's this Commons button over here. And when you click on Commons, one of the featured option on the front page right here is going to be our secondary Canvas template for OPS. So this is a template that you plug into your course that makes it easier to get going on your stuff. So if I click on this item, what I can do then is I can pull it into my course. So there's a button that says import download. I'm going to click on that option, and then from here, I can select any course that I want to add it into, and you can have multiple at once. So let's see if I have, I'm not actually going to do this because I already have the template in there, but let's say that I'm looking for my Science 7 course. I would then click the import into course button and it would say it's loading. And then eventually it would load and pull all this template content into my course. So if I go back to my dashboard now, let's say that I did that. And I click in here, back to my class. This is what that template looks like. So you come in here, it sets a home page for you. It creates these buttons for you that are kind of nice and useful. So that way you're able to, students can click here and like they can go to an about your teacher section, or they can go click here and go to their learning modules, which is where all of your content should be hosted. So you can click there and then it brings them to this page. So it's really nice because it's all set up for you already, ready to go. All you have to do is fill it in. So in order to edit a page, what you would do is click the edit button in the top right corner. And from edit, this would normally say insert course here, but it's the same thing. You highlight the text and then you can just type on it. It's just like a Word document. So I go Science 7, and then I can fill out, this is pretty good and ready to go. But like you can fill out like an introductory welcome message, a course description, and whatever you want to do. You can add your own pictures up here if you want to. The sky's the limit. It's just like Word. And I do have a YouTube channel that I'll share the link to that has training videos on how to do all of this, but it's just editing a page. So you can type in the content and fill it out. And when you're all done, you hit save. Then you can like click on these various pages. Like let's say I want to go to the about my teacher area. I can hit edit and I can add a picture if I want to, or if I don't want to add any of this stuff, I don't even have to use it. But a lot of teachers will put like, if they're in high school and they have office hours, they might put that information in there. Just general contact information. But you can decide what you want to include on this page. It's just a template, so you can still do what you want with your own course. But once I have typed into it and filled it out, I can hit save. And that's kind of how you set up a course from scratch. So that allows you to set up a course from scratch and you're good to go. The third option, which is the last option for what to do to get started once you have your course, is if you taught last semester or a semester before, or even you taught this course last year or something, and you have content that you want to copy from that semester directly into this course, you're certainly able to do that as well. So that's the cool thing about Canvas is once you've built your stuff once, you don't have to build it again. You can just keep moving it year after year. Um, but the way that I would do that is I would go to the home page. So I'll just click on home. Let's say this course is empty now. And what I would do is click import existing content. It's this option right up here at the top. And that allows you to copy content from previous courses of yours. Where it says content type, you would select copy a Canvas course. It's the top option. There's all this weird stuff here, but this is really the only one you'll ever need. So copy a Canvas course. And then from here, you just type in the name of that course. So let's say, I don't know whose course this is, but it doesn't matter. I can click on my course. If it were you and you weren't a district admin, it would only show your courses here. So you won't have as big of a list as me. But you can select your previous course that you want to copy from. I always just do all content, but you can do select specific content as well. But once you hit, I just do all content because you can just delete stuff that you don't want. But you can do all content and then hit the import button. And what it'll do is it'll say it's loading. And when it's done, it'll say completed down here. And then that will pull all that content from that course and create an exact copy of it in your current course. So this is good, especially for second semester, because if you were teaching first semester, a lot of teachers will just take that first semester course, copy it into second semester, and then it looks like you're just continuing on from first semester. So, but it's totally up to you. So that's your three options on how to get content. And which kind of answers the homepage question as well. So hopefully that helps. Do we have any questions about this particular section? Getting content. Okay, so that's three good options for getting content to get you started. And I always tell people, don't get overwhelmed in this stage. This is the stage people start to get overwhelmed sometimes. Just remember, you don't have to have the entire semester done for your students. I usually would work a week or two ahead. It just kind of depends on your personal style. I was always a week or two ahead kind of a person. I knew some people that did even less than that. But as long as the students have their content for that day, you can build this stuff in chunks. And then at the end of the semester, you'll have a full course built out that you built a little along the way. And when the fall starts, if you're teaching the same class again, you just copy it over. You've already done the hard work for yourself. It's kind of like when you were a student teacher and you wrote all those lesson plans and then you could continue using them. Or your first year teaching, I mean, you write all those lesson plans your first year, and then the next year you can kind of go off of that stuff and it makes it a little easier. So, yeah, similar idea here. Let's go to the next step in the course. We have make adjustments and add content. So now that we have our content in there, it says to update your course content for previous courses, you can fill in the blanks on the template. If you get a course from your TLC, you might have to fill in the blanks as well. It's just a matter of adding the content. And like I said, don't feel like you need to build the whole semester at once. Just like do it in manageable chunks. Um, and I have this YouTube channel here that I linked. There's so much to cover in this particular step 4 that I just put it on the YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel breaks this stuff down by topic. So let's say you want to add a quiz. There's a video on how to add a quiz. Let's say you want to use a discussion board. There's a video on that. It just breaks it down into kind of micro topics based on what you want to do. And a lot of people, especially when they're new with Canvas, they'll start with just a couple of tools and go from there. So like I know some people that they just started with quizzes. They built their Canvas course, they published it. And then when I say build their Canvas course, I mean they took a lot of their paper quizzes and they typed them into the quizzing tool in Canvas. And now they've got digital copies of all their quizzes. And that's how they started. and then they could build off from there. So it's kind of however you want to do it, whatever your comfort level is. But that YouTube channel there that's linked in the document I shared with you, that will go over those topics in smaller detail. Um, and yeah, you can definitely check all that out. And then finally, the last step is to publish your course and content. So if I hop over to Canvas, I'll notice that a lot of my courses say published up here at the top. This means that it's visible to my students. It's like when you write a book, you need to get it published for the readers to get access to it. Well, it's the same thing with a Canvas course. So your courses start off down here in the unpublished area. That means only you can see it. And that's just good for like building a course. And then when you're ready for your students to see it, you can publish it to send it to them basically. So it becomes visible on their dashboard. The way to publish a course is fortunately pretty easy. Well, notice I'm in the unpublished area and there's a publish button up in the top right corner. So let's just publish this one. So I clicked publish in the top left corner. That moves it up here. It is now visible for my students. So that's the last step. Once I've got enough content that I'm ready to start using it with my students, I can hit that publish button and it makes it published. Now, in addition to that, there is one other level of publishing that I want to talk about. So if I click in a course, and we'll see that it says published up here in the top right corner now, and I go to modules, you'll notice that there's green check marks and gray circles with slashes through it. The green check marks mean that that content is published, which means that the students can see it. And the gray circle with a slash through it means that it is unpublished, so students cannot see it. Now, this is good because you can determine what content your students see and when they see it by using this particular tool. So right now, students can only see the stuff with the green check mark next to it. If I come up here at the top of Canvas, there's what's called a student view button. If I click on that, the student view button, and I come down here, I can see exactly what my students see in my course. So it allows me to double check what students have access to. Right now, I can see that they have access to these resources, all the resources that were published. If I leave student view, I'll see that more stuff pops up. Like this whole module was not visible to the students. It's because this module isn't published. So if I come up here in the top right corner, we'll see that it's unpublished. If I click on it, I have the option of publishing the module in all items. So it would publish everything in the module at once, or I can just publish the module and then that leaves all of these still unpublished. Now, it goes in a hierarchy. If your course is published, or sorry, it goes in a hierarchy. If your module is published, but the items within the module are not published, it still won't be visible to your students. So if I go to student view here, they just see this empty module header because none of that stuff is published. However, once I start to publish stuff, which I do just by clicking on it, so where the gray circle with the slash is, I just click on it, boom, turns it into a green check mark. So I really like how simple that is. Once I start doing that, this stuff will be visible. So I go to student view, I'd be able to see these three items underneath of it. However, if I have pages published, but they're located in an unpublished module, students will still not be able to see it. So the module plus the assignment or page or whatever resource you have, both have to be published for your students to see it. So if I go to student view, that module is not there. So they can't see the module, therefore they can't see what's in the module. Hopefully that makes sense. So it's a hierarchy thing. You got to have your course published first, then you got to have the module published, and then you're ready to publish your individual resources. But what teachers will do is they will build content maybe like a week at a time or a unit at a time, however you want to do it. And they'll just leave it unpublished until it's time for the students to see it. Once it's time and you want your students to have access to that content, it's as simple as clicking a button. So you go to the module that you want to make visible, you click on the gray circle with the slash and do publish module in all items. That publishes everything there and your students will have access. So that's how publishing works. So you can build ahead if you want to, and just leave it unpublished. Your students won't see it. And if you ever want to double check, you do have the student view button or view as a student up here at the top to double check and see what they can see. So once your course is published, you're ready to go. Your course is set up. So it's pretty simple, 5 steps. Probably the biggest one is the fourth, but you can make that as big or as small as you want to. You don't have to do everything at once. So questions about publishing. Okay, so that's it for our training. Hopefully you found this helpful. Like I said, that document is in the uh, it is in the chat. And also, I'm going to be taking this recording and I'm going to be posting it into the global announcements. And I will include a link to this document in the global announcement as well. So you will be able to access that. But I'll stick around here for a bit if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, if you don't, you are free to go. And of course, if you come up with any questions later on down the road, my email is on the card, but you can just type in Tyler Shaven into Outlook. I'm the only Tyler Shaven in the district. So yeah, you can shoot me an email if you ever need additional help after this. But otherwise, you're free to go. I'll stick around for questions though, but I am going to stop the recording. Thank you to everybody who's watching the recording, by the way.
Hi, Tyler. This